most important part of it is just the support system that's available. Like, you can have as much equipment as you want, but if the teachers aren't excited for you and for you to be able to realize your thoughts and your dreams for music, I don't think it would be as successful as it is.
They just kept reading and reading and reading and reading. And we actually had kids reading up and down the hallway and bumping into rather than, texting on the street corner, they had a book in their hand and they were reading and bumping into each other.
Kendra, look at the size of that.
A lot of children don't know where their food comes from.
Look.
So to have the ability to come out here and plant the seed, harvest the green bean or the radish, they're invested in that particular plant. They're more inclined to taste what it is that they've grown.
Found the hugest one.
It's a monster.
This is my second year in materials processing, and all of a sudden I just came across the idea of, hey, why don't I do a swing for my yard with a roof and everything so I could sit out there and enjoy the outdoors.
Sounds good. Hi there. Welcome to Classroom Close-Up New Jersey. I'm your host, Sean Spiller. Every child is an artist. So begins a quote attributed to Picasso. Most can agree on the impact of art education. Studies have shown links between student involvement in the arts and improved attendance, increased academic performance, and decreased dropout rates. Here in New Jersey, we've long been a leader in arts education requirements. On this episode of Classroom Close-Up, we'll highlight a program designed to encourage participation in arts education. Later on, reading, gardening, and woodworking. Now, join us for a model school in the arts.
Have you given us a chance to make you proud?
The arts are alive and well at Paramus High School, and there are many offerings to choose from.
Inhale out. Exhale out.
But this wasn't always the case.
In 2005, the state of New Jersey put out the first arts education survey, and that was to survey all schools in the state of New Jersey to see where they were in terms of what they were offering in arts education. And we realized that there were a couple of areas in music and art that we needed to improve upon.
The data was part of the ArtsEdNow campaign, a statewide initiative designed to increase participation in the arts. Seeing the need for improvement, Lisa and her colleagues worked together to expand the curriculum.
When you see the kids and you see how passionate they are about all the different art forms that we have here in Paramus, it's important to me, and I want to give them the very best experience.
It's like, look at this line should be straighter. This is Art 3 honors class. We do drawing, painting, sculpting, little of everything.
Currently, I'm working on a still life. You get to observe how to get things from 3D to 2D, but also make it look like it's 3D.
Look to see if it's the thickness we want. I feel like there's a lot of art involved within the culinary. Plate presentation, composition, flavor profiles, how to bring food together, that it's not just one, it's almost like, a symphony of food.
We'll just go right tail back a little bit so it's hitting the back of their heads. The range of projects going on, it's anything from darkroom work to working in the digital realms of photography.
Oh, that's good though. Your details are nice in the highlights.
Dennis DeLilio, he was my photo teacher in high school, and I feel like he really let us explore mixing media. Fast forward to now, I'm working in stop motion animation where I build all of the characters from scratch. So this one's an example. This was a puppet of Richard Wagner for a recent stop motion film that I co-directed, and then we screen it at Lincoln Center with a live orchestra.
I think Mr. DeLilio taught me I just have to pursue what I want to do. Also helping with technique, but more self-worth and self-confidence.
To start, it's all individual pieces cut into trapezoids, and then we kind of create rings out of them. So
basic idea in the way that I changed this program from your initial vocational style type of program to more of an art-based focus. So every student is going to be enticed with something which works towards them. Matt really excelled very, very well in the program. He'd come up with some outstanding pieces of artwork.
The experiences that I want students to have here is something that is going to catapult them to the next level.
Paramus High School really helped me build a strong arts foundation. In the clothing classes, I really learned the basics of construction, how to go from a piece of fabric to like a whole dress. I did intern for Vera Wang for a while, and it was really amazing because we really worked hands-on with her.
The arts really are more about connecting to the human soul. And this is their outlet and their freedom of expression. It's a break.
5, 6, here we go, shift.
My job really is to inspire that inner person.
3, 4. We focus on production, creation, composition, and basically just modern, contemporary music skills. What really makes this facility amazing is the interface that we're using. They can all be working independently, and I can monitor all of them through our headphone system.
I think the most important part of it is just the support system that's available. Like, you can have as much equipment as you want, but if the teachers aren't excited for you and for you to be able to realize your thoughts and your dreams for music, I don't think it would be as successful as it is.
We know the arts are just the foundation for students and for learning and for growth, and to be able to have such a robust program throughout our district. It's instrumental and critical gaining the tools and the strategies they need to be successful.
One of the most unique aspects of Paramus High School and the arts department as a whole, it is the teachers. They balance this delicate component between being both a classroom educator and an artist.
After we've made the great change that we did, the survey came out again from the state of New Jersey. So the transformation from 2005 to 2012 was quite significant, and that's why they've recognized as a model school in the arts. I was a shy, introverted music student, and I know what the arts did for me in my life. It's a powerful tool. And so my job is to make sure that I can provide my students with the very best arts education to take them as far as they could possibly want to go.
It seems like I just can't get away.
We can all be arts education advocates. Learn about the state requirements for the arts. Ask your local school district leaders if they've implemented the state standards. Is there a written arts education policy approved by the school board? Become more informed. Do a little extra reading. It may seem like a challenge, but it's one where everyone wins.
These 6th graders are planning to read a lot of books. If you ask them how many, they'll probably say
40.
40.
40.
40. 40.
40.
40. 40. 40. 40. 50.
Well, most of them will say that.
This year, I'm gonna challenge you to read 40 books by the end of 6th grade. I was at a professional development workshop, and I was overhearing teachers talking, and we were all talking about that dreaded independent reading, and that kids weren't developing a love of reading. So someone said, I just got done reading this book called The Book Whisperer, and you have to read it. It's a total game changer. So I started reading the book, and Donalyn Miller starts off by talking about how she was a 6th grade teacher struggling getting kids to independently read. And the first chapter, I was like, oh my God, it's my life. It's deja vu. It's exactly what is happening. And as I was reading, I was so intrigued as to how she got her entire class to fall in love with reading. And the entire philosophy, it just clicked and made sense. And I said, this is what I have to do, and this is what's gonna work for us. The only requirement that you have is it has to be 40 books, and I'm gonna ask you to read certain types of genres. When kids have the ability to choose what they read and read what they like, then they fall in love with reading. So what books are you planning on reading?
Mystery.
So you're gonna go to the mysteries. Is there any specific mystery that you've heard of that you wanna read? That genre component, it allows them to explore different genres in different areas that they might not know existed, which in turn can change their future choices. What I've learned is that once kids find one book they love, they almost get hooked. So I really try and expose them to as many genres as possible in the beginning of the school year, so then hopefully they can be inspired to start reading something. And I think once kids are learning about other books and what their peers are reading, and hearing other kids talk about the books, it makes them want to read it more.
I used to think that I did not like nonfiction at all, but then I just read more than I thought that I would in nonfiction, and I started to really like it more.
My favorite genre is graphic novels,
historical fiction,
mystery, and poetry.
Students are also empowered to abandon books they aren't enjoying.
Before, kids were not allowed to abandon a book. They had to finish it, and if they were forced to finish something they didn't like, they didn't do it. So now they have to read up until chapter 2, and then they have to meet with me and discuss why they want to abandon the book. And then if they determine that they want to abandon the book, they do have the freedom to abandon it and get something else.
Pallitto integrated genre sampling into the existing book club component of the school's literacy curriculum.
All the kids that are reading biographies are meeting with everyone who's reading a biography, or all the kids who are reading poetry are meeting with all the kids who are reading poetry. So now the kids are rotating dependent upon what genre they're reading, and they're able to mix with kids of different levels, and they're able to be exposed to different titles that they might not have been exposed to before.
So I'm reading this book called Spy School, and it's about this boy named Ben Ripley.
Instead of writing book reports, students give book talks.
I am reading El Defo. It is a graphic novel.
This is called The Thing About Jellyfish by Allie Benjamin.
The book talk gives kids the freedom to just sit and have a conversation about a book. If I had to write a report on every single book I read as an adult, I probably wouldn't want to read anything because I wouldn't want to do the report. But I talk about great books I'm reading with my colleagues all the time, so I think that it allows them to experience a real world component, and it's a lot less stressful, and they had to have read the book in order to have a conversation about it. All right, you're good. There you go.
Thank you.
Culturally and historically, it's just such a gift to have that joy of reading. I think it's very important for students to have it as an outlet as well and as an escape.
I think the 40 Book Challenge is a great way to get them interested in genres they may not have chosen before, to kind of broaden their horizons a little bit. I think it's been a great motivator.
Well, I didn't like to read a lot, and it was like something that you earn when you get it, and it was cool reading a lot of books.
I never really liked reading, and because I never really had a reason to read until the 40 Book Challenge, and now all I do is read. I read on the weekends, on my way to soccer practice, whenever I'm in the car.
2 years into using the program, Pallitto is seeing positive results.
I saw a greater love of reading. When I would say, "Did you read this week?" it was very much, "Yes, I read, I finished my book, I want to read another book." And I noticed kids were just talking about books and were excited about books, and it wasn't something they had to do, it was now something they wanted to do.
When we come back, growing lessons from the garden, after this.
I call them my 5th grade babies. Depending on what the family dynamic is, sometimes you are that mother figure in a child's life. You know, because some of the children may come from homes where they have foster parents, some moms may be deployed, or just depends on what the dynamic in the home is. So they all know they're my 5th grade babies.
From planting trees, writing in journals, to harvesting vegetables, the students at the EJ school spend lots of time in the schoolyard garden. This garden was chosen by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture as the best schoolyard garden in the state. It's all part of Nurse Bianca Aniski's initiative to plant the seed in students at an early age to promote a healthy lifestyle.
Hector, look at the size of that.
A lot of children don't know where their food comes from.
Look.
So to have the ability to come out here and plant the seed, harvest the green bean or the radish, they're invested in that particular plant. They're more inclined to taste what it is that they've grown.
I found the hugest one.
It's a monster. It's a great tool for learning because kids actually get to do hands-on projects.
Cilantro's here, peppers.
My students harvested vegetables for the salsa we're going to be making this afternoon.
Just use the ones that are off the vine.
We're going to be incorporating some math and some counting.
Okay, ready? Let's count by twos.
2, 4, 6, 8.
And then they're going to see their vegetables cut up, and we're going to mix them together in a bowl and create salsa, and they'll get to taste test the salsa.
It's very good.
With enough imagination and creativity, it rolls into every subject that we teach here.
You got it off! You got it off?
The children read Cucumber Soup with me. It's about ants having cucumber fall onto their anthill, and they had to figure out a way to get the cucumber off of the anthill. As an engineer, you have to devise or come up with a plan to lift the cucumber off of the anthill. The only catch is you can't use your fingers.
We put the sticks on it, and then we got another piece of tape, and then we pulled it up.
I incorporate that into our science lesson. We're learning about engineers and the design process and problem and solution.
Tell me what your idea was.
Our idea was...
Our teachers utilize the garden as much as they possibly can, especially on beautiful days like today. They're able to come out. We have the picnic tables here. They're able to do journal writing, do some cross-curricular activities that promote not only our garden, but also our English and our math and our science classes as well.
Stella, can you put this on a stem for me? If you need help poking it in, just ask.
Okay.
Very good. Is it going to stay?
Give me a high five. It's really cross-curricular in nature. We also like to incorporate measuring the different parts.
Do you think this one would have a big root system or a small root system?
Big.
Writing about what we've observed. So it is scientific in nature, but it also covers cross-curricularly.
Yeah, that could work. Here, we'll do this. Ready?
Garden-based learning for me is a passion. I really think that it speaks to the young learners.
Put it in the hole. We've been talking about apples, incorporating it with the letter A. What are they going to do with those apples? We read a story called The Apple Pie Tree. My children had an opportunity to work with apples in the classroom, and we also made pretend apple pies in preparation for planting our very own apple pie tree. We're going to need water, and we have the dirt, and then our apple tree is going to grow bigger.
It's a living lab is what it is, and that speaks to the experiential learner, the tactile learner, someone that wants to really get their hands dirty.
There she is.
First it was an egg, then it hatched, and then it was a little caterpillar.
The students have been working on a unit started in September about raising and tagging monarch butterflies.
Ready to go. There's 2, and they both have their stickers.
We find that these hands-on science projects are an experiential way for them to learn cross-curricular.
It was flown to Mexico.
Kids want to explore nature. Just like they want to learn language, they want to explore nature, and it's perfect. It's a perfect learning environment for kids.
That one's gorgeous. Go all the way down and pull it. That a boy? Good job. The kids that need hands-on are the ones that are in here digging. The kids that are
visual
learners, they can see, and then the science journals. You know, they're proud of that little work.
This is carrots. These are flowers.
The children went around the garden, used their fingers to test the soil.
Bridget, does this bed need water?
They watered different beds in the garden.
Now come back, check the soil, see how it feels.
And then we investigated our rain gauge.
This is like a ruler, but it's for liquid measurement.
It's a natural outdoor learning environment. It helps not only our school children learn about plants and try new foods, it helps our local community too, where we have a relationship with St. Francis Food Bank.
I just want to thank you guys for all that you've done, you know, from planting the seeds and growing this. This is all going to go to help some families that need some extra help.
It's a great asset to our school.
It's amazing. I could go on and on about the benefits of having the garden. It's something that I am proud to be a part of. Was that your plan? Oh, I'm loving it.
You're watching Classroom Close-Up.
questions before we get started? All right, let's get on glasses. Let's go to work.
The materials processing program here at Steiner is essentially a blend of the old wood shop and modern day sky's the limit, whatever the kids' ideas they bring to the program. I don't say no too often as far as their ideas for what they want to produce.
Look.
Mr. Friedman comes around with, hey, what does everyone want to build this year? I wrote down double neck guitar, and I showed that to him, and he was like, that sounds really cool. The woodshop program really brought something really good for me, and I loved it. I just loved working. I love the idea of taking something from so simple and then building it into something that was really great and gigantic.
This is my second year in materials processing. My motto has been go big or go home the whole time, and that's basically what I'm doing. I wasn't really sure at first what I wanted to do, and all of a sudden I just came across the idea of, hey, why don't I do a swing for my yard, with a roof and everything, so I could sit out there and enjoy the shade and just enjoy the outdoors.
Over the years, some of the big projects that I think most people in the building remember was Lauren Woods. She's off at Millersville to be a tech teacher now. She built a beautiful grandfather clock. Matt Blackman, who's also off at Millersville now, he built a canoe, which we put in the swimming pool at the end of the year, which is a lot of fun.
Pull back a couple times.
It is one of the best classes in this school.
All right.
It's an amazing experience. It's sometimes a heartache because if a piece breaks or doesn't go your way, but in the end, it's all worth it. And Mr. Friedman's there every step of the way. Last year, I made the chess table with the chess set. He just let me go and work.
Light taps.
This year, I'm making a Victorian-style end table. It's now very, very apparent that I need his help.
This is my first time trying wood carving. I was surprised at how well I actually did because I've seen videos on how hard it was until Mr. Friedman prompted me to try it. He's got tons of knowledge. He inspires me to do things that I don't even think I would be able to do. Like this, I never thought I'd be able to do this, but he inspired me to try and do it, and it turned out great.
When I was in high school and, I told my guidance counselor what I wanted to do, he said, don't do it. Don't do it. He said, they're closing all the programs down. You're never going to find a job. And it just so happens my high school at the time did, in fact, close their program. And so that was the trend back then. And now so many schools want those programs to stay or come back. It's exciting for me to get the opportunity to say, hey, if this is what you like and you're willing to work hard, go for it. The fact is, those kids now that go into the technical trades are getting jobs right out of high school, making really good money.
Sometimes I'll make something and they'll see it and say, oh, I want to make that. And I say, okay, when you finish your first project, I'll help you get started on this. And I think they surprise themselves sometimes on what they were able to accomplish. I see kids that might be having a hard day, and when they get into woodshop, that goes away because they're just working on their project and they have peace of mind, and we very rarely have to push them just towards the end when we're getting near the show.
Towards the end of the year, classes have a certain date where they know they have to be completely finished with their project.
The celebration is when everyone finishes their projects. We display them in the halls of the school, and everyone kind of just admires how hard we've all worked on putting together these projects the whole year.
The reason that all started and came to be was when I first started teaching here and I introduced myself as the new woods teacher, the most common reaction was, oh, I didn't know we had wood shop here still. So it's become a tradition now. It's, it's not, oh, I didn't know we had wood shop. It's, when's your celebration of the arts? When's all your stuff coming out?
Last year when I saw projects all over the hallways, it was very interesting, and I wanted to do something great. Now I'm working on a 12-string guitar. I was thinking of majoring technology, engineering, education, maybe become a teacher, a woodshop teacher, engineering CAD teacher. I want to do all those things so that more young ladies would be more comfortable into getting into those classes.
a lot of girls don't want to do it, so I'm just like, hey, why don't I do it? Like, if you're not going to do it, then I'll do it. I'll do it for you so that maybe your children or your children's children can do it for themselves.
A quick update. Since we first aired this story earlier in the school year, we've learned that Iris is hard at work on another ambitious project, a bed frame with built-in drawers and compartments. Erin is back at it too. She's building a reproduction of an antique roll-top desk, surely another work of art, inspired by that sky's the limit approach to learning. These are the kinds of hands-on projects that connect young learners to real-world issues, strengthen their problem-solving skills, and boost their confidence for self-expression. We hope you enjoyed watching. To see this episode again or to search our video library, please go to classroomcloseup.org and join us next time for a gateway to careers and more inspiring stories from our public schools. Until then, for Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, I'm Sean Spiller. See you soon.